Airbnb's value at $70 billion. Do you think the government is going to want that business shut down? No, because guess what? The government's going to tax that money. Absolutely. A lot of time we focus on how can I make quick money? How can I make money? Service to many leads to greatness.
And what you just explained, there isn't guesswork in what you're doing. Like there is an actual formula. Talk to that person who has that 500 credit score, 450.
A lot of people were distracted what's going on, negativity, the news. Wow.
But a lot of the people that was talking about Airbnbs are no longer.
People like you and me, like, you know what? I'm going to lock in right now, build my business up and run it up.
Is Airbnb dead? And why do you love the business model so much?
Is Airbnb dead? The answer is.
Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Now, today we're talking about a business model that has quietly created millions of dollars for everyday entrepreneurs, but most people still don't understand how it actually works. Our guest today is a 7-figure entrepreneur, real estate investor, and Airbnb strategist who has spent over a decade building businesses across credit, business funding, and short-term rentals. He is a Miami native with Haitian roots who built a profitable portfolio using creative real estate strategies and now teaches thousands of entrepreneurs how to leverage credit, funding, and Airbnb to create real income and generational wealth. He's also the founder of Team Legacy, a community helping people transition from hustling to ownership. But the interesting part is this: before the success, before the systems, before the 7 figures, there was a chapter where everything almost fell apart due to partnership gone wrong. So today we're breaking down the Airbnb business model that most people misunderstand, how to use credit funding to start real estate without huge capital, and the opportunities coming with the 2026 World Cup and the systems behind building a 7-figure income stream. Because if you understand leverage, you might realize wealth is a lot closer than you think. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother, Eugene Fan.
What's up? What's good, bro?
So first of all, you've been on the platform before, and you talked about Airbnbs. You talked about, since then, like you've perfected your system. It's gotten better. A lot of, and I don't mean no shade, no disrespect to nobody, but a lot of the people that was talking about Airbnbs are no longer here, right? So my first question for you, and you still have created a 7-figure business, you're still making money. So is Airbnb dead?
Man, great question. A lot of people right now are saying Airbnb is dead. The answer to that is no. It's the dead strategies people have been using since 2020, COVID time. And guess what? Those will want to be people that want to get started in Airbnb.
Yeah.
Now we're still doing it 5+ years, but it's all about having the right systems and strategies on how to scale your Airbnb business.
Yeah. What is it about this business model that you like so much, right? So you've helped a lot of people, become successful. And I'm somebody, like I said, you've made 7 figures. You built a 7-figure business. I'm somebody who loves business models, right? Because I look at a business model and I'm like, does this make sense? How does this work? What is it about the Airbnb business model that makes it lucrative, which made you stick with it?
Yeah, man. So what I would say was just number one is the numbers, right? The way you can make money, because when me and my wife got started in real estate, we got started with having a multi-family, and the cash flow was just a little bit, only $300 in profit a month.
Wow.
Right. But when we came across Airbnb, literally you could 3x that. You could make anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000 of profit a month on one unit. But what I like about Airbnb is that it make real estate sexy, right? Because think about a lot of people like you and me, sometimes they don't find real estate attractive business to do because it's slow money.
Yeah.
Right. But if you really understand real estate is one of the best ways to create wealth. So with Airbnb, you can provide experience to your guests, make it more attractive and have fun with this. So I like it because it's not just traditional real estate. You guys should provide experience and make great cash flow.
Talk a little bit about funding, right? Because I think a lot of times, most people fail at business because they don't have access to capital, they don't have money. You're a 7-figure entrepreneur. You've built income through credit, through business funding and Airbnbs. For someone who's hearing your name for the first time, what is like, how are you using credit? How are you using funding? How are you using Airbnb? Like how do they all connect in order for you to, build the business that you build?
Yeah, correct. So great question. So what I would say, funding, without funding, I wouldn't be here right now, right? As a successful entrepreneur, without leveraging credit and without using other people's money, using the bank money. But there's always two sides to everything. Having access to credit could be a bad thing, right? Because sometimes it comes with no instructions. So what I would say is you want to have the discipline. And I say this all the time to my mentees and students, to anyone, like there's no reason why you cannot fund your dreams here in America because banks are giving away money.
Yeah.
Right now, you got to figure out what to do with it and how to properly structure yourself to qualify for it. So with having a 700 plus credit score in the LLC, you can access literally 50K plus in funding. Wow. And what we was able to do is leverage that capital to actually invest into Airbnb, where now it's cash flow and we pay back the bank and we keep the difference. And you can do that in any business model that you want to do.
Wow.
Get your credit in order, have a strategy, invest. Because a lot of time when people get access to credit, let's be real. Man, I got $50,000 in credit. Very first thing they think about, I'm going to go to designers,
right? Go
to Louis, Gucci.
Yep.
I'm going to catch me the flight to Dubai.
Yeah.
Right? This is what they're thinking about. But you got to, let me invest the credit, pay back the bank, and live off the drip. What I mean by live off the drip is live off the profit that you're making off the other people's money, off the bank's money. And that's how you do it the right way.
Yeah. When most people hear like Airbnb, they just think about like renting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really turned it into a serious, business. What do most people misunderstand about the business that you figured out?
Yeah. So, right now is a big misconception that you can't do it, right? It's illegal to do Airbnb. And it's not illegal. It's been around. Short-term rental. Airbnb is just a marketing platform, right? Kind of think about social media. You got Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Those are social media outlets. Same thing with Airbnb is a short-term rental marketing website. You got Airbnb, Verbal, Booking.com. So a lot of people say, you know what, Airbnb, it's illegal to do it. And it's not. You got to understand there's a regulation. And one thing I always say is think about this. Airbnb's value at $70 billion.
Sheesh.
Right now to this day, to date.
Yeah.
Do you think the government is going to want that business shut down?
Right.
No, because guess what? The government's going to tax that money.
Absolutely. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So once I understood that, I understand this is a business model that's going to last a long time. And the other thing too, which I'll probably talk about later on, is you have to really think long term.
Yeah.
A lot of time, new entrepreneurs, when they get started into a business, they think microwave success.
Yeah.
They think about, I got my LLC, I'm going to be rich overnight.
Yeah.
Nah, you get rich overnight. You got to play the long-term game. So one of the things that we realize is that you can really create generational wealth leveraging Airbnb, right? What we've been teaching our students now is how to get an Airbnb and purchase it from the owner, right? We had a couple of mentees that are actually buying properties. I bought it.
Oh, wow.
Now that's going to pay down the properity faster. And instead of doing a 30-year mortgage, you get paid down that property within 5-10 years.
Wait. Give me that sign. Because that's new sauce. That's new sauce. That's so you change the recipe a little bit.
So think about it. Traditional real estate, if you buy a property, get a mortgage on it, single family home, if you're doing long-term rental, your traditional profit is anywhere between $300 to $500 in profit statistically. on that single family. But when you're doing Airbnb, your cash flow is more. So typically you could bring in a 30 to 50% return.
Right.
So let's say your mortgage is $3,000, but you're bringing in $10,000 in revenue because you're doing Airbnb in a house.
Right.
That's an extra $7,000 you have. You could deploy straight to the principal.
Yeah.
Right. So you got 10K, 3,000 toward the mortgage, 7,000 left.
Yeah.
You could pay more towards the principal and still keep some more in your pocket.
Right.
Now you're paying down that mortgage faster, where now you can own that property free and clear.
Wow.
So this is why a lot of new investors are leveraging the Airbnb model,
Yeah.
so that way they could go ahead and own that property quicker and still make great cash flow at the same time.
Yeah. It's funny because it reminds me of, I think it's zip cars, right? I think it reminds me of zip cars, where like, let's just say somebody normally would have a car and they would be paying a certain amount for the car, and they use it personally. The amount of money, like they're not making no money off the car, but if they like, let's say leased it or lend it to a zip car, now, when people, or even Toro, those type of things, like when people are like, when it's dormant, nobody's using it, they're either send it, rent it out. When I think about that business model where it's the same sort of service, but by having short-term people churn over and over, the lifetime of it, you get more of it.
Correct.
And so I like that business model. What does a successful, so you're an Airbnb company, you know what I mean? And so what does a successful Airbnb company or property, what does the property look like financially? What kind of numbers can a well-run unit produce?
Okay, great question. So what we look at, a lot of times when people thinking about getting started in Airbnb, or maybe they're already doing it already, you're not looking at the right numbers. You want to think as an investor. So you want to look at the potential revenue that you could earn. And what we do in traditional real estate, realtors that may be watching this, they use a system called the MLS, and they can run comps on a single family home on how much they could sell that house for a client. And we do the same thing with Airbnb, is that we use a system called BnB Calc. Right. And what that does is short for Airbnb Calculator. You could get a subscription monthly. You can research that. And now we plug in the address. And what that website would do is let us know what's the potential revenue we could earn on that property per year. What's the potential profit? What is the occupancy rate per month? And what is the average daily rate we could charge per night?
Oh, wow.
Right. So what we look at is we like property is going to generate us 50% in occupancy more a month, meaning that it's going to be occupied 50% or more a month. And we want to be at $50,000 in revenue more. We don't want to be anything less than $50,000 in revenue for a particular property. So for example, one of our properties that we found for one of our students is doing $100,000 in revenue a year. Occupancy rate is 70% occupancy rate. And the average daily rate they could charge per night is about $500 a night. So think about it. If you got someone that's paying $500 per night and you're at 30 days, that's almost $15,000 in revenue. You're bringing in a month. Because you're not charging once a month. You're charging nightly when it comes to Airbnb, like a hotel.
Right. One of the things that I want to unpack, which I think is like so genius, which is, again, I now see why you love this business model, right? Because at the end of the day, when you start thinking about the potential, right? Like how you could actually, make money with Airbnbs. It's almost like a no-brainer. But the one thing that I also notice is, and it makes sense why you stuck with it so long, is that it's not really a guessing game. Right, because BnB Calc, and look, we need some sponsorship, but that right, like that program, it takes the guesswork out of it.
Correct.
Right, and so how I'll use myself as an example. When I during just out of COVID, it was probably 2021, I want to say, I was interviewing people, and it was Matty J. I interviewed Matty J. And he was talking about Toro and talking about car rental business. I was like, yo, I think I could do that. That's easy. It just looked easy. And so I wind up buying like 5 cars, and I was like, all right, I'm about to get into the Airbnb business. I mean, the Toro business. And it was bad. I'm talking about as I'm I was at the airport all the time. Everybody wanted drop-offs. Nobody was picking up from my house. I was rotating car. It was bad. I was like, yo, this is not worth the energy. It's not worth it. But I had to And so now I had to sell the cars because I didn't need the cars anymore. I sold them at a loss. And so now I'm in a business that I don't I took a loss because I guessed.
Correct.
I listened to somebody, but in what you just explained, it almost feels like there isn't guesswork in what you're doing. Like there is a actual formula. Talk a little bit about like your program and your success, and how other people were able to get to the next level by following the blueprint.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I always say this, that someone always has to be the guinea pig, right? Meaning that they got to be the first one to go out there and try to make it happen. Yeah. Kind of like, maybe for you as well, too, you probably one of the successful people in your family, the, break generational curses as well. It's always that one person. So same thing for me. I was that first person to step out. You know what? Let me go ahead and tap into Airbnb. Yeah. But what I did was I learned a lot of information about it. So I went through trial and error, making a lot of mistakes that cost me a lot of money and a lot of time and headaches. Right. You know what I'm saying? So lost thousands of dollars making the wrong decision. So we learned from that mistake. And one thing that we always say is that you have to fail your way to the top and fail your way to success. So you got to make some failures. So don't be afraid to fail. So if you're watching this and you want to start a business and you want to start something, just start. Don't be afraid to fail. So we made a lot of failures and we learned from it. And what we have now is a system, just like you mentioned. So we got a formula that we use in the system that we stick to. And system stand for save yourself time, energy, and money, right? Bars. So all we do is leverage that same system, rinse and repeat. So we have a system of how we find properties, right? That's already Airbnb approved. That's going to generate, we like to be around 80K and 100K in revenue that we teach our students to go out there and acquire. And then also that's going to generate you some good cash flow. And then we have a cleaning system that we use as well, too. So we hire a cleaner. So we use a website called Turno that will find cleaners nationwide for you. Wow. So we don't got to be the ones cleaning our properties, right? For example, I had a student. She was a lawyer, but she did Airbnb without knowing how to do it the right way. She was cleaning her own properties. Wow. I'm like, yo, you tripping. Yeah. Right? Because you wasting time. Like, why not hire somebody else? Let them go ahead and clean the property. You paid them. You save your time. Absolutely. So we got a cleaning system. And then also we have a automation system. So we use a channel manager called Hostaway, and we'll link all of our properties and we create automation. Wow. So that way it's not us messaging every guest. Yeah. We don't have to be the ones messaging the cleaners. Our system, once the guest checks out, we'll send a message to the cleaner to let them know to go clean that property. Right. And then another thing that we implement in our business is that we leverage a VA team. So what we do is have virtual assistants that communicate with the guests throughout the night. So while we're sleeping, our business is to operate, and that's what we want. So that's the same thing that we teach our students, because the name of the game, like we've been taught, obviously going to school, go to college, to make money on your feet. Yep. You got to know how to make money in your sleep. And finding a business that will do so. So we create those systems so that we could generate the income, but we teach our students to do the same thing. Yeah,
I love that. I love that. One of the things you teach, and we kind of talked about this, but one of the things you teach is using credit and business funding to get started. How does someone leverage credit into the Airbnb business or even real estate?
Great question. So yeah, you can leverage multiple ways. So to get your first property, one thing I want to tell everyone, if you're thinking about getting started in Airbnb, here's 5 quick ways you could go ahead and get started in your first unit. Number 1 is setting up an LLC. Number 2, having your credit in order. You want to have a 700 and above. And then you can access $50K in business funding. Wow. Right? Some banks will give you 0% interest credit cards.
Do you have to be in business for a long time?
No, you could be in business for literally 1 week.
Word.
We had a student, they had an LLC only open 1 week. They had the credit score. We got them approved for $50,000 from Chase. 0% interest for 12 months. Wow. Right? So now you take that money, you invest into your first Airbnb. So it's 2 ways you get your first Airbnb. Number 1, you could do rental arbitrage. Yeah. Where you could rent the property from an owner with permission, rent it out under your LLC name, use that property for Airbnb. The second way is purchase the property, right? So either route that you want to go. The other step that you will take is get it furnished, so you can leverage the business credit to buy the furniture, so you're not using none of your own money. Right. All you're doing is using the information and the strategy to make the money. Right. Now you're going to be able to buy the furniture. If you're going to do rental arbitrage, typically you just pay first and last month rent. So if they want $3,000 a month for a particular house, a 3-bedroom house that says in Tampa, Florida, you just pay first and last month, which is $6,000. You take that money off the credit card, you use that to give that to the landlord. Wow. Same thing, go get furniture, furnish the property. After that, take professional photos, then list the property. Man. Right? Literally within about 24, 48 hours, you're probably going to have people reaching out to you to book that property off the Airbnb platform.
Wow. Man, Why don't you think? Do you think it's because people lack this? Not like why aren't there a lot of people adapting this model? Like why aren't there, especially in our community, why aren't they Airbnb?
Yeah, I would say three reasons. Number one, people not leveraging is because lack of knowledge. They don't know about it.
Yeah.
Right. And the Bible says my people, will perish because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
They don't know about it. Right. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
The second thing I would say is fear. People hear all the bad stories that's out there, the regulations that's coming out. They let fear set in and stop them from, getting started in the game.
Right.
And then the last one I'm going to say is that I'm gonna be real. Most people are lazy. Right? They don't want to go out there and just do the work, you know? And I tell people this is like, once you do the work one time, you set it up, now you're creating a semi-passive income stream.
Yeah.
But a lot of time, let's be real, most people are afraid to do the work. They want something easy.
Yeah.
Right? And I always tell people this, don't be afraid to do the work. Don't look for the easy route, right? Do the hard work in the beginning. So I'll say those three things: lack of knowledge, fear, and afraid of doing the work.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about automations, right? Like, I feel like in this business, there's like automations, there's systems, there's things that can help you. How has automations helped you in your business?
Man, I would say, man, help me with everything, because right now we live in a day and age with AI. So a lot of software companies have AI to create a lot of automation. So we have a channel manager that will handle all the automating messaging that will send out to guests once they book. It will send the messages to the cleaners, let them know we got to clean. And then also we could leverage a dynamic pricing tool. What a dynamic pricing tool does is it gives you your rate you should be charging per night. So for example, let's say we're here in Atlanta, right?
Yep.
So let's say right now, if Beyonce were to come here for a concert,
price is going up.
Yesterday's
price is not today's price.
You already know. So the Beehive crew come through, the hotel's like, hold up, we raising this $300 a night to $500 a night.
Facts.
So it's the same with Airbnb. You can have a dynamic pricing tool. We use PriceLabs, and then what that tool does, leverage AI and detect the patterns, how many people are searching for a particular area, and it will detect events that's going on to give you your daily rate you should charge to make sure you're competitive. You don't leave no money on the table. Right. So one of the things right now with the World Cup coming here in the USA, with that dynamic pricing tool, it let us know how much you're recharging per night. For example, one of our students, he has a unit in Dallas, Texas, where the World Cup will be going June and July. For that month, right now, the average rate today is about $300 a night. But for that month in June, he's at $700 to $1,000 a night.
Sheesh.
So just imagine, let's say someone booked him for 30 nights at $1,000 a rate. Hypothetically, someone books it for the full month, that's $30,000. But if he didn't have that AI tool to detect that and change the prices for him, he would miss out on that money. So that AI tool will change the price for you by itself. It's called PriceLabs, dynamic pricing tool. And then we're leveraging just the Airbnb within itself, because Airbnb has some automation, but a lot of AI right now is AI. Any business that I tell people this, name of the game is work smarter, not harder. Right. We live in a day and age, technology, leverage it. Leverage it. So we're leveraging AI like crazy.
Yeah, and I love that. You shared something with me, knew you for a very long time. You shared something with me that I want to share with the audience. Because I think a lot of people see success, but they don't see the journey that we go through. You were, talk about the partnership. You were in a partnership, a business partnership, that, I mean, almost cost you your life. Literally and figuratively. Talk about that moment for me.
Yeah. So, I've been an entrepreneur going on 15 years now. So actually my first business, I was actually in the car business, right? That's like I love and hate. I hate the car business now, right? My very first business, I had a car dealership at age 22. I did that for about 5-6 years. And then since we sell cars, my cousin reached out to me. Someone reached out to me, was like, hey, I think you should start this business because now we'll be able to help people get into cars. So he couldn't start the business. So I end up opening the business up and everything like that. I was the owner of the business, set up the LLC. And long story short, it was a tax business, right? Tax business. We end up shutting the business down. I didn't like the business because I like to be out in the field. I don't like to be behind the desk. That's why I love Airbnb. And long story short, we shut it down. 2 months later, I got feds knocking at my door. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's going on? To the
I'd
kind
be
of
rich in hell if the Fed.
right. So I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Never got in trouble in my life. You know, I went to college, graduated 2 bachelor degrees, did everything the right way, and it caught me by surprise. And that happened in 2016. And you know, I had to hire attorneys. It cleaned me out, right? 2016, 2007 cleaned me out. I had spent over $100,000 in attorneys.
Wow.
So my car business, I ended up letting it go, sold the business, and I'm just kind of focused on that. Yeah. And then we built back up, right? We built back up, and you know, we built multiple 7-figure business, doing short-term rentals on Airbnb. Administration change. I'm not gonna get into politics, but administration change in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it opened back up the case. The new attorney general opened back up the case, and from there, you know, I had to hire an attorney, go to court, and you know, because I was the owner.
Right.
I got hit with probation. Also had to pay back $100,000 in restitution. Wow. And because of that, I got hit with a felony.
Wow.
And
so first time getting in trouble.
Yeah.
You get into a partnership, and like what was done wrong? Like so because you owned it and somebody else was doing something wrong, you were liable for it.
Correct. So if you're watching this, number one is like pay attention to everything, right?
Yeah.
And you know, but this situation, it was crazy, you know, but we was able to overcome it.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. And I look at it, and the crazy thing was it was so much grace going through this whole situation. And I feel like God was over the situation, because number one, the other attorney I charged, because he was so pissed, he didn't even charge me. Usually he charged $50,000.
Wow.
He said, because, you know, you went to college, did everything the right way, like, I'm not even going to charge you to represent you. Like, he was pissed.
Wow.
And, you know, we ended up getting probation. He said, man, that judge that was on that case never gave anyone probation.
Wow.
Everyone that got in front of her seen jail time.
Wow.
Right. And he was shocked as well too. But sometimes God put you in certain situations so he could get the glory, and was able to overcome that and still be successful through that as well too. So it was tough. Yeah. But you know, I say that to say this: if you're watching this and you're going through something, you have adversities that you went through, or your current situation, understand, don't let your current situation be your final destination. Because you are able to overcome it and still win and come out on top.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you were vulnerable enough to share that story, because I know there's a lot of
first time sharing it.
Yeah, you know, and I know that there's a lot of people who are afraid to share their stories because of, you know, backlash or what people might think about them or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But like literally what you just did right now is that you freed yourself, but you also free somebody else, right? Somebody else watching who thought because they have a felony or because they had some type of issue, because, you know, fill in the blank, that they can't ... But you are true and living, right? Like you are proof that, you know, God's gonna make a way.
Yeah,
right. God's gonna make a way.
1,000%. And a lot of times, you know, when we go through certain situations, we feel like it's the ending of the world.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, I think God was a learning lesson for me, you know, going through that situation. And it was very tough, you know, being on probation for a year, never getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Like I had to get permission to leave the state, permission to travel. And it's like, man, like it was tough, but to come out and still be here today, number one, to make you cherish your time that you have. You know, a lot of times we don't. Our freedom.
Yeah.
Right. So it made me cherish my freedom. And also for me to be a testimony for other people.
Yeah.
That you can still win. Because sometimes, you know, I have some students, they're like, man, like I seen you went through a certain situation that you had a felony, but I still want to rock with you and learn from you because number one, I know you're genuine.
Yeah.
And you're truthful, you have integrity.
Yeah.
And that moves me.
Yeah.
You know, and that tells me, like, number one, like it's not just for me, it's for other people.
100%.
You know, when they tell me that, look, I seen you had a situation, but I still want to learn from you and pay to learn from you because I trust you.
Yeah.
You move with integrity. And I know you'll be able to get me to where I'm trying to go. So that right there motivates me to go 10 times harder to make sure anyone that's attached to me becomes successful and give them 100% of me.
Yeah. And again, you know, I think just the testament of not only did you get to it, get busy, you built that brand, right? You built that 7-figure brand, 8-figure brand. What would you say, right? So right now somebody's watching who is trying to figure things out, right? They're trying to get to the next level. They're trying to have the resilience that you have, but they just feel stuck, right? What are you telling them? How are you, what's their first step if they're feeling stuck and they want to get into this business? They're like, you know what, Eugene, I learned from this. I connect with you. You know, you never gave up. But I'm feeling down and out. I'm feeling stuck. Fill in the blank. What are you telling them after that? How do they? What's their first step? And how do they get out of the funk?
Yeah, number one thing I would say is figure out your why, right? Your reason why. You know, a lot of times social media, will glorify, man, becoming successful is easy, and it's not.
Yeah.
Right. But figure out your why. What is your reason why you want to become an entrepreneur? You want to get out of a certain situation, and use that to fuel you. Because understand, like, you're going to have adversities, but certain things that our mentor always told us that sometimes you have to grow through what you go through. So you're going to go through certain situations, but you got to go through that process. Yeah. But to keep going. I don't care what it is that you have going on in your life. The only way you lose if you quit. So if you're watching this, start. Don't matter where you are right now. You have everything you need in your life right now to win. Just start. You don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. Right. But the other thing is staying consistent.
Right.
When the fire's at your feet and you feel like throwing in the towel, feel like quitting, stay consistent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Just stay consistent, because that's what champions are born.
Yeah. What's the future like? Is rental arbitrage? Is Airbnb? Is this a long-term play? Is this business going to be around, or is it a fad? Is it just coming and going?
Nah, this Airbnb is here to stay. It's been around for decades, since 2004. The industry been around for years. But Airbnb is here to stay, and they're just getting started, with the experiences, everything that they're providing as well too. If you're watching this, I tell people this right here is like, with Airbnb, the time that we're in, kind of think about Bitcoin, kind of think about Facebook when Facebook got started. If you had a chance to invest into Facebook when they first opened up, where they at today, that's the same thing with Airbnb right now, because they have the World Cup that's coming here. They provide experiences. I learned this because we had a private session. They reached out to me because our performance on Airbnb, the platform, that we had a private session with the Airbnb reps from corporate.
Wow.
Down in Florida 2 months ago, and I didn't know that they had a luxury line of Airbnb. Other side. So it was telling us everything about Airbnb, their vision, where they're going to the next couple months. So if you're watching this, now's the time to get locked in with it. Yeah. So if you're thinking about getting started in the Airbnb game.
Yeah, yeah. And so if someone who wants to position themselves early, what would you say then, right? If now is the time, should they start doing to prepare for this opportunity?
Yeah, so what you should start doing is looking at the best markets right now. Start doing some market research analysis.
And not to cut you off, because that was actually, you reminded me, you said 2026 World Cup, like what is coming is a great opportunity. Also talk a little bit about like what areas is it going to be?
Yeah, great question. So right now I was looking at the market. So with the World Cup, they're going to be in Miami, Florida. Yeah. They're going to be in Dallas, Texas. They're also going to be in New York, California. So you want to be looking at those areas if you're nearby those areas as well. And what Airbnb is doing, because they know it's going to be so big, they're paying people to become hosts. So if you start your Airbnb in one of those cities and you host someone for the World Cup, they're going to pay you extra $750.
Wow.
Some cities, I think in Miami, they're going to give you extra $1,000 just to host for the World Cup. So not only that you're going to get paid per night at a premium rate, but they're going to pay you an extra bonus on top.
Wow.
Why would a company dish out almost $4 million, four plus $5 million in bonuses? Because they understand the magnitude of it, of what's going on. So those are going to be those cities that's there. But right now, what you guys should be doing is looking at the market, seeing what the best markets are. So the top 5 markets is going to be Nashville, Miami, Florida, Orlando, Florida. You got Atlanta, Georgia, which is a great market. And then also Dallas, Texas is a great market as well, too, if you guys thinking about starting Airbnb. But all over the U.S., you just want to do market research analysis, use airdna.co and also BnB Calc, the research the markets.
And so just like I talked earlier, you know what I'm saying? I started this Toro business, made a lot of mistakes. What would you say is the biggest mistakes like beginners make getting into this business?
Not doing the research and due diligence. Just like you mentioned, so same thing when coming to Airbnb, just choosing any house to do Airbnb. For example, we had a student prior to getting started with us. He got Airbnb and it was in the hood, right? He just got it because the owner said you could do Airbnb, but he got horrible reviews every time a guest would book. It's like, hold on, this thing is in the hood.
Yeah.
This is going on. It was like an ISO had a broken down train next to the house. I'm like, yo, like, but he didn't do no due diligence. He just got the Airbnb. So number one, do market research. Ask yourself this question: would you stay in that Airbnb? If the answer is no, you shouldn't be getting an Airbnb there. So that's the number one mistake I see a lot of people do, is just getting anything to start Airbnb with.
Why do you believe that real estate is still one of the best wealth vehicles in today's economy?
Yeah, what you want to do, the reason why I think that real estate is one of the best ways to create wealth is that you want to look at what the top 1% are doing, right? They are successful in their current business and industries. Look at Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. They're billionaires in their industries, but they also tap into real estate, because real estate is one of the best ways to create generational wealth, not just because of the cash flow, but also the tax write-off benefits. Because think about it, when you create a lot of income, you got to pay Uncle Sam some money.
1,000%. Yeah.
So one of the best ways to lower your tax liability is through real estate. So that's why so much wealthy people own real estate. So that way they can still have cash flow and still lower their tax liability.
Yeah.
So one of the best ways to create wealth, because think about this, people always need a place to stay.
Yeah.
Right? If you travel, very first thing you're doing is looking for a place to stay. If you catch a flight, or I'm going here, I need an Airbnb or hotel.
Yeah.
So it's something that people always going to need. It's not a want. It's not a fad. Real estate is, going to be here for decades.
Yeah.
You need a place to live.
Talk to me about Team Legacy, right? Because I know you've had mentees. They've done very, very well. Do you have an event coming up where people could learn from you? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So Team Legacy, when I came up with the movement, I didn't want something just to be about money. Because a lot of times, as people, we just think about, I want to get rich. I want to make a lot of money. But Team Legacy is something about building, not just building generational wealth, but also passing down principles, right? So we don't just talk about money. We talk about life insurance. We're talking about, we talked about estate planning as well, too, and also passing down principles for generations. Right. But that comes through knowledge. So that's what our community is about. So it's not just with making money, but also with those principles, and also setting yourself up to build generational wealth the right way. Yeah. And what we actually have going on is that we have a summit that we're going to be doing. We're going to be teaching people the game about credit, how to get started in Airbnb, and also how to leverage AI to go out there and find you your first Airbnb. So that we do eliminate the guesswork, less work from you, and you still find your profitable Airbnb. And then how to have the right systems to automate the Airbnb business. So we're going to be doing this in 3 days, teaching people this game. And it's actually going to be getting started here soon.
Nice. And so what are the things that I'm hearing from you right now, and when I'm hearing about these business models, even in what I do and everything, I feel like there's two worlds happening all at once, right? You have the world where people are talking about inflation, they're talking about gas prices, they're talking about war, they're talking about how bad things are. And then you have another world where it's it couldn't be easier to make a lot of money. What world are what is it? Is it doom and gloom? Is it all these bad things happening? Is that going to really affect you? AI, all that stuff? Or is it really nah, despite all this stuff happening, this is one of the best times to be alive because you could become rich quickly?
Yeah. I would say, kind of think about, reflect on 2020 during the pandemic, where we had a pandemic, COVID going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of millionaires that was born during that time.
Yeah.
And the reason why, the reason why I think that is because distractions.
Yeah.
A lot of people were distracted what's going on, negativity, the news, while people like you and me, you know what, I'm going to lock in right now, build my business up and run it up. So I think now is the best time to get started. And, looking at everything should be more of a reason why, because you don't want to only depend on your job. You don't only want to depend on one stream of income. Yeah. Because one stream of income is too close to none.
Too close to zero.
Yeah, too close to zero. So you got to start thinking, if all this going on, I need to find me another way to make money.
Yeah.
Right? And Warren Buffett said this. He said, man, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you can work till the day you die.
Thanks.
So why not set yourself up to have another stream of income? But now's the best time where everyone's distracted. What's going on?
Yeah.
The news, social media, you locked in on your business, starting a business. You're learning more. You're getting in rooms to position yourself to win.
Yeah. I want to go back to credit and capital for a second, because right now I can hear somebody complaining, or somebody saying, well, oh, I don't got credit, so I it's not gonna work for me, or oh, I don't have no money, right?
Yeah.
Talk to that person who has that 500 credit score, right? 450, and they want to get into Airbnb, they want to get to rent arbitrage, they want to they want to play with the big dogs, right? What is their like step by step, right? Like what is what are they supposed to do? From 450, is it time to just throw your hands up, or is there a solution for that?
Yeah, but I love that. One of the old sayings I can remember is if it's a will's a way.
Yeah.
Right? You got to want it. And so many options. A lot of time people don't look at options. And I can remember my mentor said this, is that it's not a matter of people don't have the resources, they lack resourcefulness. Right? So many ways to get access to capital. So even if you have a 450, you can restore your credit, get your credit in position.
Yeah.
So very first thing, if you're watching, is you want to build credit, is get your credit report. Go to annualcreditreport.com, see what's negative that's on your report. So if you have collections, negative items, those could be removed. You could dispute those items. Typically, it'll take you about 45, 90 days, clean those negative items up. And then add positive trade lines. So if you're paying rent, get rental history added to your credit report. One of the best ones that I like is called Credit Rent Boost, because it reports to all 3 credit bureaus of your rental history. You could go back far as 3 years to add those rental histories to your credit report. So Rental Boost, creditrentboost.com. And then the third thing is Credit Strong. We can get trade lines added to your report, and that can help build up your credit score as well too. And once you get established credit score, go to a bank and ask for a secure credit card, put money on it to go ahead and establish that trust factor that you got positive credit history reporting. Once you do that, now go get yourself some unsecured capital, right? So one thing I always say, you have to be patient. It's a strategy.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a matter of that people don't have a money problem.
Yeah.
It's a matter that people have a strategy problem, but also being patient.
Yeah.
So if it takes you 3 months to get your credit right and you could get access up to $100,000, would you do it?
Yeah.
Would you wait that 3 months?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your credit in order, and then from there you can get access to capital.
Yeah.
But the second thing is, you have some banks that will still give you access to some money, even if you have a 600 credit score. Some credit unions give you access to money.
Yeah.
We have some students right now that got access to $50,000 in money with a 600 credit score. So you got some banks that will lend to you. Right. So you can still get into the game. So it's not the ending of the world. You just got to start looking for those different options, different banks that'll give you money with less than perfect credit.
Yeah. How do I find these banks? Do I Google them? What do I search for? How do I know this is the right bank to go to?
Yeah. So number one, you want to do some research as well. So one of the things is, if it's going to be for like a personal loan, you could go to like lendingtree.com, right? One of the reasons why I tell people to do that is because it doesn't give you a hard inquiry. It'll do a soft inquiry, let you know if you qualify for any personal loans, right, to qualify for. The other one, which is a great one that I love now, they're giving out the bag, is SoFi. SoFi is giving out a lot of money. And I tell people this, you got to understand how the banking system works. The banks make money off of interest.
Oh, absolutely.
So they want to lend out of money.
Yep.
Right? So if you go to these institutions, you have your credit at least structure up decent or the right way, you'll get access to some money. But then also, if you're looking to go on the business side, I always tell people, look for credit cards that give you 0% interest. You got Chase Bank, 0%, 12 months. You got Truist Bank, 0% interest for 12 months. And then also go to credit unions, because they're going to give you high credit limits with a decent interest rate as well too. So like Navy Federal, there's a lot of different credit unions out there you could go to. You got Amri Credit, you got Alliant Credit Union. So there's a lot of credit unions you could go out there and get access to the money. And then my other favorite one to get access to credit from is Skylar Federal Credit Union. You could get up to almost $20,000 on a credit card, 650 credit score.
Nice.
Right? So look towards the credit unions.
Nice. What's the the founder of Team Legacy? What's the legacy of Eugene?
The legacy for me, man, what I want to be known for is the impact, right? Impact that I left, man. I want to impact 1 million lives. Because what I think about it like all the money we make, all the stuff that we own, we can't take it with us when we die.
That's facts. Yeah.
We can't take it with us when we die.
Yeah.
So just the memories, the impact that you're able to make. Because guess what? When people know, you know what? Ash Cash did X, Y, and Z, man.
Yeah.
Inside the vault, like people will know you for that. So my legacy is, man, how many lives that I impact. One thing that stood out to me is a lot of time we focus on how can I make quick money? How can I make money?
Yeah.
My mentor told me this. Service to many leads to greatness. The more that you focus on serving people, by default, you become successful. So my focus now is serving a lot of people.
Service to many is greatness.
Yeah, service to many leads to greatness.
Greatness.
Yeah, focus on serving people.
Yeah.
So my legacy, I wanted to be known for how many people I blessed and impacted. as well. And then what I passed down for generations, where they could get my picture and put it on a plaque. Man, this is great grandpa. He did this and set us up.
Right.
And that's what I'll be known for at the end of the day. Because again, think about it like, you know, we could have money, we have these great things, but man, if I could be a blessing to my family, to other people, that's a win. And that's what I want my legacy to be known for.
Yeah. No, I love that. When it's you know, is this a type of business, right? That can you pass this down to family? Like when, you know, because I know you and your wife work together. I see y'all do a lot of things together. Is this one of those businesses that you know, could potentially be passed down and stay in your family for generations? Meaning the Airbnb business.
Yeah, most definitely. So this is something you could pass down for generations. Because again, you're doing real estate. Real estate could be passed down. And you know what I like about this is that it's not a difficult business. You know, at the end of the day, because a lot of times some kids don't want their parents' business because it's very difficult.
Right.
There's a headache. Man, I don't want no part of that business.
Right.
But when you set it up and you got property management set up, all they would be doing is collecting checks. That's it. You know, so definitely this is something we're going to pass down.
And that's again, that's what I like about this business and you know how you do it, is because it's one of those things that it's real tangible assets, it's real cash flow, it's real, you know what I mean? It's like you know, whether you're doing rent arbitrage, whether you own the property or not, like all that value is not just a dead asset. Right. It's something that is kind of working with you. As somebody who, you know, didn't grow up with money, and you run, you know, you've made multiple seven figures, you run a 7-figure business. What is the mindset that it takes to be prepared to receive a lot of money, but like become a millionaire? What type of mindset do you have to have?
Yeah, so what I would say is two things. You know, a lot of time people say, man, I got to have the motivation. And we all know motivation dies off. It's discipline that wins the game. So I'll say two things. Number one is you got to have the knowledge. You got to have some information. You got to learn. Then the other thing is you got to be disciplined. Right? You got to be disciplined. 'Cause a lot of time when people get money, oh man, I got money. That first money you got, whatever business you got, whether it's online business, physical, whatever it is, that don't belong to you yet.
That's a fact.
You got to put it back into the business. Right, put it back into marketing, whatever that it is, and then you got to pay Uncle Sam.
What percentage would you say you like people should be spending?
Man, I would say if you could live off spending only maybe 30%.
Okay.
Right, 30%, because you want to put money back into the business. You're saying let the business grow. Then you got to put some money aside for taxes. As well. So that comes with discipline. You know, the other thing is you got to have long-term vision. That's number one. You got to have a vision. You know, in the Bible, I think it lays down the principle to build wealth.
Sure.
Man without vision will perish.
You
got to have a vision. You know what? This is where I want to be, because that's going to keep you going at the end of the day. So you got to envision yourself. You know what? Whether you want to be a millionaire, hey, I'm already a millionaire already. The money is just not my bank account yet. Right. So you got to have a vision to where you want to go. So it's kind of like this, where, you know, if I'm driving somewhere, I got to put the address in, and GPS is going to lead me to where I want to go. But I already had to make a decision that I want to go to this particular location.
That's good.
Right. So that's what people need to do, is make a decision where you want to go. Decide, stay disciplined, and then know how to manage money that you have as well. Because a lot of times people get money, they blow the money.
They blow it.
They spend all the money. Like, man, where did the money go? So you got to be disciplined. You got to have a game plan. You got to get some knowledge. You know, the more you learn, the more you earn. So don't be that person that you think you know everything, because time has changed. Like if you're watching this and you're not tapping into AI in your business,
facts.
You're playing yourself, and you're going to get left behind. Because that's where we at right now with AI.
Is there anything I didn't ask? If like you like, yo, I would love to talk to your audience about this. I want to leave this gem. Is there anything that you want to tell the insiders?
Man, I think, they got everything. I gave a lot of game on this one.
I said that. So really, which I'm not surprised, because I know you. I know your heart. I know, you know, I've spoken to a lot of the people in your community before. And the fact that that's who you are. Like you're a giver. But as I'm talking to you, I'm like, yo, this dude's telling exactly where to go, how to go. But the truth of the matter is this, and y'all make sure y'all tap into the summit, because the truth of the matter is that even with AI, I don't think that people are paying for information anymore. right? People are paying for accountability.
Correct.
People are paying for the community. They're paying for access. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot what you provide in your mentorship is, it's a community, it's accountability, right?
Correct.
It's the things that you can't, it's the things that AI can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to leave with that, I'm gonna give them a gem to leave off with, and I'm glad you brought that up, is that people pay for the experience.
Yeah.
And that's what we give people. But one thing that's going to help you guys get to success much faster, regardless of where you are in your life right now, is the environment. Get in the right environment. That's going to be the hack that you guys are looking for, the cheat code that you guys are looking for. Get in the right environment.
Yeah.
That's going to push you, because a lot of times we're in the wrong environment where you can't grow.
Yeah.
Right? Just like a seed, it got to be planted in the right soil. You got to water it for it to grow. So that's the same thing within yourself. So find a community, find an environment that's going to help you to grow. It's going to give you the information that's going to encourage you. Because a lot of time we're on negativity with your coworkers, your colleagues, your family, your friends. They're instilling your limiting beliefs on you. Getting an environment is going to push you and help you grow. And that's what we create here at Team Legacy, is that we have an environment where people don't want to leave the calls that we got. They don't want to leave the rooms that we created for them. And that's what we create the experience as well. So if you're watching this and you want to experience, then you want to tap into the summit that we're going to do for them at BnBSummitLive.com. All right. So if you guys want to tap into the experience that we provide, learn more about Airbnb, learn more about financial literacy, you guys want to go to BnBSummitLive.com to be able to tap in.
And I'm also going to put the link below in the description. So make sure y'all click the link. Make sure y'all join the summit. 3 days. If you think he gave out game right here, there's more game that he's going to give you. And again, ultimately, what I think, this is what if I were you, I'm not telling you what to do, but if I were you, what I would do is go into the summit ready to learn, but also, this is a date, right? Go into the summit and really say to yourself, is this someone that I can see myself learning from? And if the answer is yes, consider joining Team Legacy, because, as the African proverb said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And for me, it's all about getting far. It's all about doing the things in the right way that gets you the right results at the right time too. And I think that's the other thing too. There's a timing to making money, right? You got to take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime in that opportunity, in that lifetime of that opportunity. If you can't run COVID plays in 2026, is done. And so a lot of people miss the opportunity, right? So when you look at the opportunity of a lifetime, there is a lifetime to that opportunity. So make sure you are tapping in, you are creating that group, that accountability. You're tapping in with Eugene. If people want to follow you, if they want to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah. So if you guys want to tap in and get some more free game from me, you can follow me on social media. On Instagram at MissEugeneFan.com, and then also on Facebook, Eugene Fan, and then on TikTok at Miss Eugene Fan.
Let's go, y'all. We are closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Make sure y'all visit InsideTheVaultShow.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. I'm going to see you at the summit, so make sure y'all tap in. But we'll see you next time, same place, in God's will. Peace!